accommodations.
Look forward to something special this year. Stand with Israel. For details about this all-inclusive trip happening this fall, visit 660amtheanswer.com for all the details.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30s, 60s, or 90s? Can't get a business loan because you have no equity, bad credit, or no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors. Get cash right now for your invoices instead of getting turned down by the banks or taking out a high-interest business loan. There is nothing to pay back. We simply buy your accounts receivable, and if those clients don't pay on those invoices, we take the loss. You have already been paid. We don't give you funds based on your credit. We give you funds based on your accounts receivable. Go buy that new equipment, hire those new employees, or use the working funds to bid on jobs you never thought you could go after. With AmeriFactors, there is no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the working funds while we wait for the net 30s, 60s, and 90s. Fund your business today with AmeriFactors by calling 800-698-9150. That's 800-698-9150. Or text FACTOR to 41411. That's FACTOR to 41411. And simply click the link to call and get funds within 48 hours.
Dennis Prager here. And for 2 years now, I've been telling you about my wife, Sue, who tried Relief Factor because of her knee pain, and it worked. This is before I ever even heard about the product. I never endorsed a pain reliever, but now I am. And yes, now I'm taking Relief Factor too. Maybe you've heard me call it a miracle. In fact, listen to what Amanda from Texas wrote. I was having pain in my left thumb area and left side of my leg from my knee about 4 inches up. After about a week of taking Relief Factor, the pain in my leg has gone away. And a few days later, the pain in my left hand is gone. We've gotten thousands of these testimonials, and if you're struggling with ongoing back or neck pain, shoulder, hip, or knee pain, or general muscle aches and pain, do what my wife Sue did. Try Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com or call them toll-free 800-500-8384, 800-500-8384.
Hey, remember the mortgage meltdown of 2008? Have you tried to get a mortgage since then and been turned down? Or maybe you haven't even tried because your credit score is stuck at 585 or your tax returns have too many write-offs. Well, Cash Call Mortgage has great news for you. We've just introduced programs for people who've been told no. And what's doubly exciting is that we can solve your mortgage problems with no closing costs, no points, title, escrow, and no fees.
Wait, Cash Call, are you saying you now have credit and income-solving mortgages with no closing costs? Are you kidding?
You heard right. A credit or income-solving loan with no closing costs. Call 855-875-CASH, and we'll work with you to solve your mortgage issues. Make the cash call at 855-875-CASH.
First mortgages impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. 1 City Boulevard, Orange, California, 92868. NMLS 128231. Equal housing lender. Not licensed in all states. Not available in Washington State. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing, terms, and restrictions.
That's 855-875-CASH.
William Noble offers extraordinary estate jewelry, exceptional diamonds, and rare jewels to the world's most discerning customer. But did you know they also purchase jewelry? They purchase diamonds, jewelry, and watches in all sizes and price ranges. Here's William Noble.
We believe that if you have jewelry that you've inherited, you're not wearing anymore, that there's no sense in keeping that in a lockbox or a safe. Bring it to us. We can evaluate for it, give you options. You can always sell it. You can redesign it. You can even trade it. But we will give you the options and educate you what you can do with that jewelry and what we would do if we were in your shoes.
It's one of the many reasons why, for 34 years, people of Dallas-Fort Worth have trusted William Noble, providing the highest standards of design, craftsmanship, and excellence in luxury jewelry. And if you have a piece you'd like to sell, look no further than William Noble. Call them at 214-526-3890. That's 214-526-3890. Or visit williamnoble.com. That's williamnoble.com.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is The Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. My God, it was collusion. It was absolute collusion. There was no doubt about it. I mean, for crying out loud, what ended up happening is that somebody from a hostile government across the world wanted one of our presidential candidates to win. And what they did was they took steps to come up with damaging information about the other candidate. And there were campaign officials all over that information, working as hard as they possibly could to get that dirt on that opponent. And I bet you're thinking that I'm talking about Donald J. Trump and the Russians. I'm not. I'm talking about Hillary R. Clinton and the Ukrainians. Did you hear about this? ABC News host Jonathan Karl read from a January Politico article headlined, which I have right here, Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire, during his interview on This Week with a guy named Adam Schiff, who is the Democrat. He's the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Good guy, reasonably intelligent, mostly honest. The article detailed how the Ukrainian government sought to help Clinton and sabotage Trump, and how a Ukrainian-American operative who was consulting for the Democrat National Committee, quote, met with top officials in the Ukrainian embassy in Washington in an effort to expose ties between Trump, top campaign aide Paul Manafort, and Russia, unquote. The efforts helped force Manafort's resignation as campaign director and reinforce the narrative of Trump connections with Russia, although the article stated Ukraine's efforts on behalf of Clinton were far less expansive than Russia's to boost Trump. Oh, really? I understand that Hillary Clinton lost. I understand this effort was not as elaborate as the Russian one, but it was acceptable. But was it acceptable, or would it have been acceptable for the Democrats to accept help from the Ukrainian government in this campaign? Here is what Adam Schiff said when Jonathan Karl dropped this very good piece of real journalism. Nice job, Karl.
No, it would be appropriate for the Democrats to accept help from the Ukrainian government. But I think if you look at the Politico article, and we're talking about just a single article here, if you accept all the facts in the article, the scale of what the Russians did is not comparable to anything in that article. If it were, the comparable analogy would be that the Ukrainian president directed the Ukrainian intelligence agencies to steal, to hack Donald Trump's campaign, steal emails, publish them, directed a social media army to influence the election, and sat down, its representatives sat down with Chelsea Clinton and John Podesta, in which they indicated they wanted the dirt on Donald Trump. There's no suggestion anything of that magnitude.
So the scale is different, acknowledge that, but this is problematic. This Ukrainian meeting is problematic in your eyes.
Well, it would be problematic to get any kind of support from a foreign government. But again, I think to compare the two is a bit like comparing bank robbery with writing a check with insufficient funds. Both appropriate money from the bank improperly, but a very different degree of seriousness and involvement, in this case, by a foreign government.
I disagree completely. So far, the Russian government has not been proven to be in contact with anyone. The Ukrainian government was involved with the Hillary Clinton campaign directly. Ukrainian government officials tried to help Hillary Clinton. We haven't seen any information like that regarding Donald Trump. We have not heard that Russian government officials tried to help Donald Trump by undermining Hillary Clinton. We haven't heard that. We have heard that a talent agent with friends in the Russian government decided to give bad information to Donald Trump Jr. with someone connected to the talent agent, not the government, a Russian attorney, not a Russian government attorney, to talk about something that was theoretically supposed to be about Hillary and was not, and therefore was meaningless and purposeless. Meantime, the Ukrainian government officials were talking about Paul Manafort and Russia. And it actually had a sincere effect on the campaign of Donald Trump. His campaign manager quit. Did anybody quit in the Hillary Clinton campaign? I mean, not guilty of a self-inflicted wound like, oh, I don't know, handing Hillary debate questions before the actual debate was happening. 866-660-5759. Michelle in Fort Worth. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Wells. I first want to say that it's me and my husband calling. I know that sounds funny, but he's driving, so I'm talking. And I just want to say that to lend credibility is that he's a retired Marine Corps lawyer, and he also now currently works for the federal government as a lawyer. And we were just talking about this whole Don Trump Jr. thing with the Russians, and we came to the conclusion that he was set up by the Democrats in order to for the Democrats to get FISA warrants, because they applied for a FISA warrant to spy on him once before, and they couldn't get it. And then this whole meeting gets set up in between the first FISA warrant application and then the second one. And what sort of connects the dots a little bit is that this Russian attorney was from what we understand from just things we've seen on Fox News and such, that she was in the country supposedly on business representing a client in New York City, and her visa expired. And so she had to get that visa renewed. And
in the meantime, Loretta Lynch signed off on her visa and let her get into the country.
Right. So it's kind of like, well, we'll scratch your back. This is Loretta Lynch and her people, and basically the Obama administration saying to the Russian attorney, we will scratch your back. In other words, we will let you stay in the country and do what you were here for, but we want you to do something else for us too. And so we feel that was potentially a setup, just so they could, because Loretta Lynch signed off on it. It was a setup for Don Jr. to meet with this Russian official
inside Trump Tower for the sole purpose of justifying a FISA warrant so that that bugging could occur inside Trump Tower.
Yes.
Uh-huh. You see, your husband is an incredibly smart person, and by the way, I think this is the first time that a designated driver was used for someone to actually take part in the broadcast.
Well, we want to do what's right.
Yeah, I was just thinking, this is totally intoxicating, actually. Thanks very much for bringing that up. And I was going to get to that, and then thank your husband for his service to our great nation, and tell him that if he wants to work for Texas as well, the Texas State Guard is waiting for him. Just tell him.
Okay.
Okay, thanks much, Michelle. I appreciate it. Yeah, the latest on that was, what if this, and I guess it was Veselisnskaya, something like that. I think that's her name. It's close. Anyway, she was led into the country so that there was some sort of pretext for a FISA warrant into Trump Tower. But of course, that probably didn't happen because then Donald Trump would have had a reason to say that he was being bugged in Trump Tower. Oh, no. The people in Trump Tower sitting there next to your son at a table in Trump Tower, those people were being bugged. We never bugged you at all. Uh-huh. Sure. Let me get to Regina in Dallas. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hi, John D. Listen, I am so glad you're talking about this. Keep banging the drum, because not enough people are. And I've been listening to Hannity and stuff, and he's really repeating it over and over every day for only a few days. Because this story came out in January, and then it was just brushed aside.
Yes.
And then now it's coming out. But there's so many things I want to tell you or ask you or whatever.
We'll do it.
Trump Jr., I'm so wound up right now. Okay, Trump Jr., I mean, this is unbelievable that they're going to make a big deal about that meeting with nothing came of it.
Right.
And now they're trying to say, oh, there were more people there. Well, John David, if there is an interpreter there, are they part of the meeting, or are they just there to do their job?
It doesn't make any difference who's there. It makes no difference who's there whatsoever. It is only having to do with the principles of the meeting. The principles of the meeting were the Russian lawyer, not the Russian government lawyer, the Russian lawyer, the talent agent was there, who was not he had a buddy in the Kremlin. He wasn't a government official. Right. All of these people that are dealing with this Ukraine information, they were all government officials.
That's right. So now that Congressman Schiff was comparing the two things, making one like a bank robbery and the other a hot check.
Right.
And he's right, but it's in reverse. The Ukrainian thing is the bank robbery, but he's trying to make out the Trump Jr. one is the bigger story. It's just mind-blowing how bizarre all this is. But you have got to keep talking about it a lot, because nobody is. And you know, the guy who really bugs me before in the morning when I turn on Hugh Hewlett,
Yes.
He was on 2 days ago. Oh my gosh. My problem is I turn on 660 a little too soon, and he was talking about and he was talking to that Tapper guy, and he was kissing up to him, and he was talking about all the 8 different things that have been going on with Trump, and he was putting a spin on them. And then he said, and then there's this Ukraine thing. I don't know anything about that.
Well, that's one of the problems with, you see, it's a breaking story. I mean, it's breaking, since January of 2017. Somebody just reminded somebody else about it, and poof, it comes back up again.
Yeah. I actually called Vicky and told her about you to look into it too. Well, and that's what we have to do, though. That's our job.
You're completely correct. Yes, you absolutely, you have to be vigilant now. You can't just sit there and not tell people like me, or tell people that you know that there's something out there like that.
Yeah, one more thing is I was hearing somebody saying that Mueller, that's his name, yeah? Okay, he was saying that he is going to look into Trump Jr. He said, yes, we're going to look into that. Well, then he needs to be pushed to look into this whole DNC thing and all the connection and the Ukraine thing. And, you know, Wasserman Schultz and that Podesta guy, they all need to be under oath and answer questions, because there is collusion there. And you know that girl that was working for the DNC, $412,000 she made during that time. And now she's trying, I heard her little statement was, I was only working part-time, and that I didn't really do any sort of, thing like that. But why was she making $412,000?
Exactly. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming by and sharing that information. So the plot thickens. Okay, I'll see your Russian collusion and raise you Ukrainian government collusion with high officials of the Hillary campaign. Welcome to politics American style. This is the Wells Report.
Attention homeowners, do you need to sell your house fast? Are you wanting to list your home in foreclosure, probate, or other problems? Well, you need to listen to this important message. We buy houses no matter what situation you're in. Cash offers, no agents, no commission fees or closing costs. And best of all, close in as little as 48 hours. We've bought over 120 homes in your area since 2003, and we're currently looking for 10 more homes right now. No matter what condition your home is in, we want it. Even if you want to list your home and can't sell it, we'll buy it from you. Dealing with real estate is a headache. Let us solve your problem, remove the stress, and put cash in your pocket. Call now at 214-919-0018. That's 214-919-0018. We offer 12 different house buying programs to buy your house fast. We want to buy your problem house today. Call us for a cash offer. Call now. 214-919-0018. 214-919-0018. Brought to you by DFWMetroHouseBuyers.com.
At any time in Texas, it can feel like the change of the seasons. But I'll tell you what, as we work our way into springtime, Abacus Foundation has been serving North Texas with the highest quality foundation repair solutions for 17 years. With a warmer temperature and additional moisture, oh my, the foundations can be rocking and rolling. So if you got cracks in the sheetrock or doors that are sticking, call Abacus Foundation Repair at 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000. These are the people I call. These are the folks who have been to my house. These are the folks who will not give you a foundation job you don't need, but will tell you exactly what's going on. Now, if you do need a new foundation, you got the Millennium Composite Pilings, the strongest, and folks at Abacus are the only folks offering it. And get this, $1,000 off any job with 10 pilings or more. AbacusFoundationRepair.com. Lifetime warranty, transferable, 972-406-9000, 972-406-9000, or AbacusFoundationRepair.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. In the last 2 months, we've saved our customers over $500,000. How'd we do it? With our exclusive partnership with your utility provider, we get to offer instant rebates of up to $1,500 when you replace that worn-out AC system. When you combine that with Carrier's Cool Cash savings of up to $3,500, we're talking saving over $5,000 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. Now that's how you save people money without gimmicks. But you'll have to hurry because the utility funds can run out at any time. So we're scheduling our free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. So call 2 other companies first, get their price, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Call 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-827-5948 now. That's 800-827-5948 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-827-5948 to learn more. 800-827-5948. That's 800-827-5948. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself going deeper and deeper in credit card debt and you're not sure how to fix the problem? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management is a nonprofit organization that will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, and reduce your interest rates by as much as 60%. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. It's not a loan. It's a smart way to relieve your stress, meet your obligations, and preserve your self-respect. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free, no-obligation debt analysis. 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Telephone number 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Yeah. The Ukrainian government officials were concerned that their otherwise pretty tight relationship with President Obama was going to get damaged under Trump. And Trump's team privately expressed those sentiments, ranging from ambivalence to deep skepticism about the Poroshenko regime, which is the group that was in touch with and running Ukraine. A well-connected GOP-linked Washington lobbying firm set up meetings with U.S. government officials to strengthen U.S. government relations. So there are all kinds of connections about all kinds of stuff like this, but, you know, the thing about it is what you need to keep in mind is that, yes, indeed, the Democrats were dealing with the Ukrainians. The Ukrainian government was completely and totally in the open distrusting Donald Trump and rooting for his elective failure. So what we have here is we have a group of people that are perfectly willing to tell one story one way and not to bring up the other story even though it's right there under their noses, until they're forced to. And that is the mainstream media. That is without doubt what they call sleazy politics. That's what that is, just pure and simple. I mean, you got to admit, you blame the Republicans for colluding with a foreign government, even though you colluded with a foreign government too. But the mainstream media is not going to report your collusion, but they will report the Republican collusion. That is just as trashy and awful as possible, is it not? Isn't that just awful? Isn't it just rotten? And all these people that trust, you see, this is the problem here. This is why I say we need to be careful about all of us agreeing, because all of us may end up being wrong. Let's take a look at the Democrat Party. Liberals and Democrats all linked up. All in a situation where you've got all these things that you're throwing out there in the mainstream media, and the mainstream media is dutifully reporting them. And when it all comes right down to it, instead of Russian government authorities and officials engaging with Donald Trump, you have Russian citizens with tenuous connections to people in the Kremlin, maybe. And what you end up with is honest to goodness, real Ukrainian government officials dealing with Hillary Clinton's campaign officers. It makes you wonder, why would you bring up any of this stuff in the first place? Is it because your trust in the mainstream media not to report the story is that good? And if that's the case, just how far gone is this country? This is the Wells Report.
Hello, Howard. Garrett the Dirt Doctor here. I got a little show on the weekends, Sunday morning, and it's about natural organic gardening. We talk about landscaping and pest control. We talk about tree care. We talk about specific pest control on some things where other people say there are no solutions. Things like oak wilt, rose rosette, crepe myrtle bark scale, and fungal canker on Italian cypress. Join me every Sunday morning, 8 to 11, right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because I really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code 660AM.
Hey, it's Mark Davis with the latest from my friends at Sleep Experts. Get a load of this. The buy one, get one mattress event is on now. Buy the perfect qualifying mattress for you and get a free mattress perfect for your spare bedroom or back to school, whatever you want to use it for. Find your perfect mattress with Sleep Experts' exclusive Expert Match technology. You know about that. Even get up to 6 years of interest-free financing on qualifying mattress sets. 866-780-6220 for credit costs and terms. This is incredible. A free mattress with qualifying mattress purchase at Sleep Expert's Buy One, Get One mattress event. Store-wide savings for a limited time, so get on in there. SleepExperts.com, SleepExperts.com. That expert matches amazing technology. Find just the right mattress for you. 11 years straight of Consumer Choice Awards. You know why. I'm a Sleep Experts family. You be one too. SleepExperts.com, SleepExperts.com. Find one today. SleepExperts.com.
Only really, really rich people can afford poor quality windows, because rich people can just replace their windows a second time. This is Robert Jackson from Renewal by Andersen, the full-service replacement window division of Andersen. Don't try to cut corners and buy those poor quality vinyl windows. They don't last. The quality of our windows is so exceptional that we actually replace other replacement windows. For a very limited time, get free installation on every window and patio door you replace. And with our financing, don't pay us anything for 18 months. When it comes to replacing your windows, you want to do this job right the first time. And that's why we ask you call us.
To schedule your free Renewal by Andersen window diagnosis and get free installation, call 469-706-3400. 469-706-3400. That's 469-706-3400.
Do you know what a RIA is? It's a real estate investor association, and it's where smart people go to obtain wholesale houses, obtain no money, no credit financing, meet local buyers, sellers, and investing partners, and receive local market intelligence and training. Don't buy houses retail. That's ridiculous. And please don't waste your time and money going to a get-rich-quick seminar from a traveling pitchman. Come network with local Dallas area real estate investors that are just getting started or taking it to the next level. Come join the largest real estate investor network in Texas. We meet on Thursday, July 25th at 6 p.m. at the Embassy Suites DFW Airport North in Grapevine. And you can register to attend for free by calling 800-717-3320. This month's topic is how to make money learning with pre-foreclosure houses. Call 800-717-3320. Write it down. That's 800-717-3320 to attend any of our upcoming meetings and receive a valuable Texas real estate training program for free. Brought to you by the Dallas Real Estate Investment Association.
For the last decade, it's been called the greatest libertarian show on earth. This year will be no different. Attended by the most brilliant conservative minds today, join us for Freedom Fest, July 19th through the 22nd at the Paris Resort in Las Vegas. This year, come hear the likes of Craig Gutfeld from Fox News, actor William Shatner, and SRN's very own Larry Elder and Michael Medved. Register now at freedomfest.com and save $100 by using the code REASON100 at freedomfest.com.
Saying I don't know is no longer acceptable. This is 660 AM, The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
Magic Matt's when he makes the coffee for the afternoons. Yeah, I suppose so. Anyway, the afternoon coffee is made by the lovely and talented Magic Matt Swinney. It's one of the reasons why we call him Magic. Nice coffee, buddy. What's going on with Mark Davis? Do you have did Mark leave us a message? Mark, what is your message for us for your show tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock?
Hey, JD, happy Monday night, a new week underway, a special Texas legislative session to keep track of. They say they want to talk about property taxes, want to talk about various types of government growth restraints, obviously the bathroom/privacy bill, whatever you want to call that. And we have a Trump administration agenda to keep track of, too, exactly what to do on a healthcare vote that's now been somewhat delayed. We'll keep track of all of it as we join together for our Tuesday program. Join me in the morning, 7 to 10 a.m., Mark Davis Show on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Thank you very much, Mark. I certainly will do that. Let me get to Tate in Burleson. Tate, welcome to the show. Hello.
Well, JD, simple question. Basically, since Michael Flynn lied, he was fired. Jeff Sessions has been calling live about this connection with Russia. Now you have Donald Trump who said he was at the meeting. He didn't attend the meeting. That was a lie. Didn't come back and amend it. Said, yeah, I was at the meeting, but we talked about adoptions. Then you have to amend that statement and come back and say, well, yeah, we talked about getting information on Hillary, and yes, I love that information could be disseminated to me. So my question is to you: after these numerous lies due to Trump's administration, when are we going to start taking these allegations seriously about Russian collusion?
What about Ukrainian collusion?
It's wrong. I have a problem admitting that it's wrong. And I'm not a Hillary supporter, so yeah, it's wrong. Anytime you're a United States citizen collude with a foreign government, it's wrong. So when you going to say that?
Well, I don't have to say it because Adam Schiff already said it, and what I did was I reported the story. As far as the rest of this goes, what are your assertions again? I'm sorry, you may have the advantage on me because they talked about abortion rights, or not abortion rights, adoption rights in Russia. And she was not a Russian government attorney in any way, shape, or form. She was not connected to the Russian government. As a matter of fact, we're trying to figure out just exactly why she was even in the country. You know, because the only person responsible for her being in the country was Loretta Lynch. So what we're trying to figure out is just exactly why she was even in the country to have this meeting at all. It became very, very obvious at the beginning of the meeting when Jared Kushner just got up and walked out after he realized that there was nothing going on having to do with Hillary Clinton. Nothing had to do with Hillary Clinton. The information from the supposed Russian source was not a Russian source. It didn't happen at all. And so what ends up happening now is we have Ukrainian government officials, as a policy of Ukrainian government, believing that Donald Trump would be bad for their United States relations, trying to sabotage the Trump campaign and Hillary's campaign, going along with it as if it's stock and trade, typical American politics. You know why? Because it's stock and trade, typical American politics. This is the way it's done. Unless, of course, you're Donald Trump and somehow we have to change the rules for whatever reason and suddenly coercing or having conversations with somebody from another country because it wasn't a government source. So having this conversation with a government authority or a non-government authority is collusion of some kind. Well, what we have here is we have a smoking gun of collusion on the part of Hillary, and everybody's still asking us why it is, or asking people, what are we going to do about the Trump campaign and all of their lying? Well, it depends on what you consider as a lie. You know, Hillary lied, President Obama lied, but they actually didn't lie, because what they actually did is they misspoke. So what I'm going to answer your question, I'm saying that nobody lied in the Republican administration. They just misspoke. How about that?
You misspoke when you asked directly. Did you have a meeting?
It was just totally just misspoke. It's not that he didn't say no. What he said was, he said snow. Because he was thinking about Russia and the fact that they have much harsher winters. And that was, by the way, in June, you know, and obviously they have harsher winters. So what he said was, he didn't say no, he said snow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I missed that one.
See? Now,
maybe you should be working for the Trump administration.
All I can tell you, yes, listen, as far as I'm concerned, Mox Nix, it makes no difference whatsoever. I mean, and this whole thing is just, it's gobbledygooky and crap. Nobody even cares. The latest group you care. I care, because we're hooked. We're hooked on this mess. I'm trying to explain it because it doesn't make any sense to me. There's no collusion here. In order to collude, you have to have a crime. What's the crime? Same thing with
to meet.
So
to get information
as a private citizen, not from a foreign government. She wasn't a government source.
He assumed it was from the Russian government. It's in the email.
It doesn't make any difference whether he assumed she was a Russian source. She wasn't a Russian source.
So, JD, if someone comes to you and say, I have some illegal materials or TVs or equipment, and you say, good, I love it, and then you show up to purchase it, and then they say, I don't have it, does that not say a lot about your character, your morals?
It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything about anything. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's like this. Let me give you an example. Okay. You got a CHL? You got a license to carry? Okay, I've got a license to carry. All right. I have a note in my pocket that says, give me all the money in the drawer and don't hit the alarm. I walk into a bank. I walk out of a bank. Am I guilty of bank robbery?
You could, well, depends.
No, I'm not guilty of bank robbery because it never happened. In order for something to be a crime actually has to occur.
But if you go into a bank with your weapon and your CHL,
yep,
and you have the intent on robbing it, and you find out they run out of money, so you change your mind.
It doesn't make any difference.
Yes, it's not.
It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference. No crime occurred.
Okay, well, if you show up to a bank and the teller said, if you show up at 2:00, I'm going to hand you all the money I have in my till, and you can leave with
That's
the money.
conspiracy.
I'm not going to push the button.
That is
and you
conspiracy.
Show up and it's a different teller.
That is conspiracy. Because what you're talking about there is you're talking about a crime, the crime of bank robbery, and an inside source helping that out. Now, where is the collusion to commit a crime between anybody talking to Donald Trump Jr. and Donald Trump Jr.?
They want it to affect the election. There are statutes that state you cannot take monetary gains or other things worth of value from foreign governments.
Well, it's not valuable unless somebody prints it. It's
so
like
it's not valuable.
No, it's like that information is valueless unless it's printed. And there was no information, to begin with. You see, here's the problem. You see, what you're doing is you are proving that a subjective spin of a story can be turned into something that is not real. In other words, there was actually a story. I'll argue your side of this for a while. There was actually a story on Friday that said it didn't really make any difference if a crime actually occurred. It's whether somebody thought a crime occurred. And I said, how convenient. Because theoretically, you could say those complete morons, those Democrat morons that actually filed articles of impeachment against Donald Trump, if they could convince other members of the House that something happened, even though it didn't actually happen, then yeah, the House could vote to impeach without any proof. And so the thing about that is that that's completely ridiculous. That is a complete. This is where due process comes in, man. You got to have due process.
With that.
Well, yes, you do. If you're saying if you're saying that someone, if you're saying subjectively that someone could talk to somebody about something, about some information that was damaging to Hillary Clinton and so on, and that's somehow a crime, that's somehow collusion, which it isn't. So you say it is. If you can convince a bunch of other people it is, then you can all walk around and say, see, it was collusion. That's essentially what that's what the mainstream media has done with you. And it worked.
No, can I articulate my thoughts on this?
Sure.
There has been numerous times that this administration says there has been no connection. We do not talk to the Russians. They have nothing to do with our campaign. And there have been numerous times that statements have been proven false. Again, Donald Trump Jr. has lied numerous times about this one particular meeting. You have the president.
No, he's only lied.
Donald
He's technically only lied once if you want to call that a lie.
Why do you have to amend his clearance statement?
Well, I mean, like I'm saying, that's only happened once. It had to do with this particular meeting. Now, let me say this. What I want to know from you is this. Two questions. Should a political campaign be able to keep secrets from the people? Yes or no?
Yes, they should.
Okay. Yes, they should. I agree. So, in this particular case, would we have known anything about it if it wasn't for the fact that somebody, and this is where somebody thinks, well, here's why the Russian lawyer was in Trump Tower, to justify a FISA warrant to listen to the conversation inside Trump Tower.
Where somebody thinks, well, here's what.
Tate, turn your radio off.
Yes, sir.
You're still on with me. Okay, so the thing is this. So they think they put they arranged to have this woman inside Trump Tower to speak with Donald Trump Jr. for the sole purpose of setting this whole thing up so that they could place her in a room with Don Trump Jr. in Trump Tower, and that's how they did it. Well, that would involve more unmasking. So if there's more unmasking now, I have to ask you this question. Which is more illegal? It's a trick question. I'll warn you ahead of time. The supposed collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign, unproven, unarticulated, unsubstantiated, or the absolute collusion between the leakers of this information and the press. Which is more damaging? Which is more illegal?
Fear. That's just, your statement is a broad-based theory.
No, it's really not. The problem with it is this. It's a trick question. The leakers are breaking the law.
Oh, I can't argue that as well.
Okay, so once again, all these people that are sitting here laughing and doing all the things that they do, saying, isn't it funny to see Trump have to backtrack all the time because of all these leaks? It's only a matter of time before it happens on your side.
But the question is this.
Yeah.
And again, it has happened in the past. Leaking has happened in every presidency that I can remember.
But let's talk a little bit about how President Obama handled it. What he went after
the media.
No, yeah, he went after the media, which is completely and totally wrong. You can't do that.
Well, Trump does the same thing.
No, he doesn't. We don't know for a fact at all that Donald Trump has been monitoring any communications between any news reporters, journalists, what have you, and anybody else. But we do know the president did. We do know that he bugged countless Associated Press reporters. We do know that he bugged James Rosen of Fox News.
I'm not going to argue that. My whole premise is, I try to call it as fairly as I can see it. And in this case, again, Donald Trump supposed to be a businessman. He's supposed to be different than politicians. And again, I like to finish.
Go ahead.
And again,
if you're swimming in hot water, everybody's getting hot. whether you're somebody that swims well or whether you're somebody that doesn't swim well. So in other words, the medium that everybody's dealing with, whether they're politicians or not, is political. The people that have an advantage in a political circumstance are the politicians. Donald Trump is at a disadvantage, which is why he's being played. Because he's
who's playing him?
Yeah, the mainstream media.
I'm telling you who's playing them. The Soviets are playing them. The Soviets are probably the ones who are leaking all this information, just like he had this meeting with those two Russians, and he borrowed the American media.
I tell you what. I've got a topic here that I want you to listen to. It's next on the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
Dennis Prager sees a world upside down.
The brainwashed, educated, they're sick. The world is upside down. Good is bad and bad is good. It's just in every arena. It's hard to get your mind around it.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on 660 AM The Answer.
Hi, everybody. Dennis Gibbs here. You know, the boat guy. Talking about boats, boating, lakes, marinas, and, well, if it floats, we talk about it. The advice we give is the best you will ever hear. They call it expert advice. Between myself, Boating Royalty, Lake Level Ginger, and Brother Strick, you hear only intelligent talk. Join us every Saturday at 6 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer, the Big Boat and Outdoor Show brought to you by DallasBoatsForSale.com.
I'm Aaron Katz. You might remember me from my radio show or my company with Little Red Trucks. Have you ever wondered why some people suffer from irrational fears like fear of heights, public speaking, or needles? For example, needles used to make me sick until I fixed it. It's because most irrational fears are created from a traumatic experience. It's a form of PTSD that affects many people. The good news is that fears from PTSD can be controlled, and you don't need a lot of prescription drugs or years of therapy to do it. As a certified NLP practitioner, I've learned how to help people eliminate their fears and change their lives. I do it by setting positive and negative triggers and activating them simultaneously. The positive neutralizes the negative, and it doesn't affect you any longer. It's the same as combining red dye and blue dye. The red and the blue both disappear, and it leaves purple. If you or someone you know has an irrational fear that's limiting them in some way, I can help. Visit my website, littleredtrucks.net. That's plural, Little Red Trucks, and it's .net. Let's get to work.
Hey, remember the mortgage meltdown of 2008? Have you tried to get a mortgage since then and been turned down? Or maybe you haven't even tried because your credit score is stuck at 585, or your tax returns have too many write-offs. Well, Cash Call Mortgage has great news for you. We've just introduced programs for people who've been told no. And what's doubly exciting is that we can solve your mortgage problems with no closing costs, no points, title, escrow, and no fees.
Wait, Cash Call, are you saying you now have credit and income-solving mortgages with no closing costs? Are you kidding?
You heard right. A credit or income-solving loan with no closing costs. Call 855-875-CASH, and we'll work with you to solve your mortgage issues. Make the cash call at 855-875-CASH.
First mortgages impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. 1 City Boulevard, Orange, California, 92868. NMLS 128231. Equal housing lender. Not licensed in all states. Not available in Washington State. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing, terms, and restrictions.
That's 855-875-CASH.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. It's been said many times, people believe what they want to believe. Many will ignore logic and go with emotion because the fear of loss is always stronger than the opportunity for gain. This often happens when choosing a home improvement contractor. People are swayed by some pretty before and after pictures and a convincing story accompanied with what sounds like a too good to be true price. They should be concerned with how long have they been in business. What kind of warranties do they have, and are they in writing? Don't get me wrong, price is important, but it should not be the deciding factor. When I started Statewide Remodeling with my partner over 23 years ago, we said we wanted to offer the best products with the strongest warranty at a fair price. I can tell you that is still our goal today. So if you need a company you can trust to install new windows and doors, exterior siding and trim, sunrooms or patio covers, or a new kitchen or bathroom, call us now for a free estimate and receive 23% off your whole project. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095.
A great president once said, "The 9 most feared words in the English language. I am from the government and I'm here to help. Adequacy of loss absorbing capacity. You call that help? That's the mandate approved by the G20. The banks can steal your money. Well, they can't steal your gold and silver that you fully control. You can have it delivered into an IRA at a depository under lock and key, or you can hide it where no one can find it, not even your wife. What? Sorry, honey. Your CDs, money market accounts, and savings accounts are all at risk. Call GSI Exchange at 800-474-9159. We have 75 years of market experience. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. 800-474-9159. Call now and get a free bank failure survival guide. 800-474-9159.
660 AM. 660 AM. The Answer. 660 AM. TheAnswer.com. Now, the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. John David Wells at your service. Mike in Fort Worth, thanks for joining us. Hi.
Hey, good evening. I'm not a lawyer, and so
have you stayed at a Holiday Inn Express recently?
I'm sorry?
Have you stayed at a Holiday Inn Express?
No, but I'm getting ready to here in a few weeks.
Then your license is good with us.
Okay. My question is, when a sting operation goes down, whether it's for drugs or prostitution or some other crime, unless money changes hands, no crime has taken place. Is that not correct?
No, it's not correct. Like, for example, in a circumstance where espionage is involved, as soon as the information changes hands, then a crime has been committed. In the case solicitation of prostitution, for example. The crime has occurred when money is discussed, not actually changed hands. It's just discussed for a sexual act.
Okay.
So you
Well,
see,
isn't the information the transaction?
Well, yeah, but in the case of Donald Trump Jr., no information changed hands, and it wouldn't have mattered if it did, because you can see government information from the Ukraine did change hands for Hillary Clinton's campaign that was against Donald Trump, and it was a matter of Ukrainian government policy that they did not want Donald Trump to win, and yet nobody's giving her any gas about any of this. It doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter on the other side either, right? So what we have here, finally, is an excuse for the mainstream media to shut up. More of the Wells Report next. This is 660 AM The Answer.
At Simple Sleep Services, we believe the best way to treat the serious medical condition of sleep apnea is the easy way. Our team of doctors are experts in providing the least invasive treatment for snoring and sleep apnea, a custom-fit, comfortable solution that you simply pop in before bed each night and wake up feeling refreshed, and it's covered by medical insurance. You don't have to endure the cumbersome CPAP mask or go through the pain and downtime of surgery or implants. We are the most experienced team in the nation providing our treatment. Your diagnosis will be from a board-certified sleep physician using today's latest technology. Let us start you down the path of a restful night's sleep. Visit simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. Treat your sleep apnea and snoring the simple way. No CPAP, no surgery, no implants, just simple sleep. Go to simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. Don't spend another night on the couch or sleeping alone. simplesleepservices.com.
My legs were awful. I always felt uncomfortable and self-conscious. I had never been real happy about the spider veins in my ankles and my legs. I started noticing fatigue in my leg.
I was so self-conscious. Then I went to Vein Clinics of America.
It's time to love your legs again. Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
I found the Vein Clinics of America, and look at my legs now.
You just feel like, you know what, I want to do so much today. It's such a big difference.
My experience with Vein Clinics of America was amazing.
Make sure your legs look and feel their best for summer. Call now to schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Call 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388.
Here's the scoop on garden soil. Sometimes it needs help from the Home Depot, where bags of Miracle Grow garden soil are a special buy, 3 for just $10. It improves existing soil with nutrients plants need for stronger roots, so they'll hit the ground running, starting with much better ground. Miracle Grow garden soil, 3 bags, $10. Now at the #1 retailer for Scott's Miracle Grow, the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through August 2nd while supplies last. Contiguous U.S. only. Limit 80 per customer.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group. On NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Baltimore Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. 2 more Republican senators say they'll vote no to repeal and replace Obamacare.
That'd be Mike Lee of Utah as well as Jerry Moran of Kansas. Now, you put them on top of the fact that you've had Susan Collins and Rand Paul already saying they will not vote for this current version of the bill. You have Senator John McCain, who just had surgery, is out in Arizona. We all know is not going to be able to come back and vote on any version of this, at least for a week or so. That means the Republicans are nowhere close to having at least 50 votes to then have Vice President Mike Pence cast the 51st vote for a motion to proceed to at least get to a floor debate on this.
Fox's Ed Henry. The search goes on for a flash flood victim.
Search and rescue crews were still looking for one man Monday who was swept away in a flash flood in Arizona over the weekend while hanging out at the Cold Spring swimming hole in the Tonto National Forest.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. 9 were killed, including 5 kids. Fox News. We report, you decide.
You're listening to 660 AM, The Answer. We all know life can get crazy and you're not always near a radio. But one thing is for sure, your phone goes everywhere with you. And now we can too. Download the 660 AM The Answer app to your phone and listen live wherever you go. If you miss any of the Mark Davis Show or the Wells Report, you can catch up whenever, wherever. Plus, dial the 660 AM The Answer studio directly from the app. And it's free. We make it easy to stay connected. Download our app now. 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friends at Good Feet. And yes, the business is called Good Feet, and they take care of your feet. But in so doing, they take care of foot pain and knee pain and hip pain, even back pain, because it can all be related to your feet and not having the right kind of arch support. Well, the Good Feet stores in DFW, Fort Worth, Plano, South Lake, and Waco, those Good Feet stores are America's arch support experts. Your shoes don't automatically know how much arch support you need. And when I have my Good Feet inserts in my work shoes, in my workout shoes, in my comfy shoes, in my dress shoes, they all feel great. I'm working better, walking better, living life, loving life, because my feet don't hurt. Foot pain, knee pain, hip pain, back pain, they can help with all of these at the Good Feet stores. And they're in Fort Worth, Plano, South Lake, and Waco. And in Fort Worth and South Lake and Waco, they're open Sundays, noon to 5. So learn all about the hours and all the locations at goodfeetdfw.com. Get out of pain today. Goodfeetdfw.com. That's goodfeetdfw.com.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30s, 60s, or 90s? Can't get a business loan because you have no equity, bad credit, or no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors. Get cash right now for your invoices instead of getting turned down by the banks or taking out a high-interest business loan. There is nothing to pay back. We simply buy your accounts receivable. And if those clients don't pay on those invoices, we take the loss. You have already been paid. We don't give you funds based on your credit. We give you funds based on your accounts receivable. Go buy that new equipment, hire those new employees, or use the working funds to bid on jobs you never thought you could go after. With AmeriFactors, there is no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the working funds while we wait for the net 30s, 60s, and 90s. Fund your business today with AmeriFactors by calling 800-698-9150. That's 800-698-9150. Or text Factor to 41411. That's Factor to 41411. And simply click the link to call and get funds within 48 hours.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-827-5948 now. That's 800-827-5948 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-827-5948 to learn more. 800-827-5948. That's 800-827-5948. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard. After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because it really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code 660AM.
If you're a CPAP user, soap and water cleaning may leave harmful bacteria, viruses, and mold that can make you sick. That alone will keep you up at night. Until now, SoClean.com is the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. SoClean kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs without soap, water, harsh chemicals, or even equipment disassembly. And now you can try it risk-free for 30 days. Call 1-800-953-4545.
So Clean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
So Clean's revolutionary design makes it easy to clean your CPAP and protect you against CPAP-related illnesses. Plus, So Clean works with all popular CPAP devices to clean them in minutes. It really is that easy. Don't risk your health. Call SoClean.com now to try it risk-free for 30 days. Call 1-800-953-4545. This offer won't last. Call now. 800-953-4545. 800-953-4545.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. So last week, Friday, in fact, we had gotten word that Susan Rice, the former national security advisor to President Obama, was going to testify on Capitol Hill in front of the House Intelligence Committee. She was expected to face tough questioning as to whether she unmasked President Trump associates in Russian meddling probes while serving as then President Barack Obama's national security advisor. President Trump alleged Rice may have committed a crime by asking government analysts to disclose the names of his associates documented in intelligence reports. Now, remember the way this works. If there are Americans engaged in conversations with foreign nationals who are being monitored by America's clandestine services, their identities are to be masked. In other words, if I was involved in one of those conversations, it would be American citizen male 1. And if there was another American citizen male, he would be American citizen male 2. But in order to get those titles removed from the official transcript, you have to have a warrant. Now, a warrant is not going to be issued. Now, that warrant, by the way, would be issued in an intelligence circumstance. So, in other words, whoever's asking for the warrant would say, yeah, this is going to be used for intelligence, not politics. The problem with it is if the person that you're trying to track is in politics and you are in politics, how do you prove that what you're doing is not for political reasons? The answer to that question is you cannot. What you hope is that no one ever brings it up. That's why Susan Rice was expected to face tough questions tomorrow in front of the House Intelligence Committee. But then things began to change today. The number of people thought to be involved in the alleged unmasking of American citizens under the Obama administration could be expanding. This is according to a source close to the House Intelligence Committee review. The source with knowledge of the review told Fox News the reason or the records suggest the unmasking goes beyond key officials like former National Security Advisor Susan Rice, former CIA Director John Brennan, and former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Samantha Power. The source said more than a half a dozen former senior Obama administration officials are now of interest to the House committee investigators. Committee Chairman Devin Nunes issued subpoenas in May to the CIA, FBI, NSA for the records about the identification of American citizens in intelligence reports. This is known as unmasking. The subpoenas covered 2016 and were issued after allegations that Rice and others unmasked associates of now President Trump. Fox News is told the agencies now have fully complied. Now, Nunes, as you know, recused himself from this investigation following an ethics complaint that was designed to get him to recuse himself from the investigation. The chairman remains involved in the unmasking inquiry. Committee Democrats have criticized Nunes for issuing subpoenas in his current capacity. Well, they would, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to do their best to quash, in other words, render useless any information having to do with the unmasking of these persons in the Trump campaign, transition, and indeed administration. That's why Susan Rice is in such hot water. If indeed it is found by a judge, this would be assuming after a trial, et cetera, from a grand jury investigation. If indeed a judge found Susan Rice or anybody else in the Obama administration guilty of unmasking these things, these identities for political purposes, people will go to jail. They will go to prison. Now, at this particular moment, Susan Rice was the main focus of all of this, but now there's more. The question is this simply smoke? Is this just mud in the water? That's what I suspect. See, I suspect that this is just mud in the water because, say, for example, if Samantha Powers has now agreed, she's the former UN ambassador, she's now agreed to meet with the House Intelligence Committee. For what? She's an ambassador. Why would she want to unmask the identities of anybody having to do with anything? Let's say, for example, what she was doing was she was dealing with the Russians and wanted to know if there were additional political people involved or diplomatic people involved from the Trump administration. And so that's why she requested these things to be unmasked. What this may be is that this may be a very clever way of disinfecting Susan Rice from unmasking these people's names for political purposes. I am not sure that that's the case, but if I was pressed to come up with an intelligence estimate right this minute, that would be in the narrative somewhere. The House Intelligence Committee has delayed classified testimony expected this week from former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice, as the panel is now working to bring forward another former Obama official as soon as this month, Samantha Power. Power, who like Rice served as a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations under Obama, has agreed to come before the committee, sources say. The panel is finalizing a date, but her testimony could occur before the August recess. Republicans have pushed to bring Power and Rice before their committee in a bid to learn whether they improperly unmasked or revealed identities typically blacked out of intelligence reports of Trump associates. But Democrats have scoffed at the GOP push, a sign of the partisan strife that still exists over the direction of the committee's probe into alleged Russian interference in the United States elections. The narrative is becoming pretty clear to me. The narrative is that there's this Russian collusion, so obviously America's intelligence officials had to look at these people communicating with people in the Trump administration, or the Trump campaign, or the Trump transition. But in reality, what it was simply a way to justify spying on the Trump campaign in the last few weeks of the campaign itself. That's what it looks like to me. According to sources familiar with the matter, Rice was scheduled to speak tomorrow, but the committee delayed her testimony for a later date. Rice, who has strongly denied any wrongdoing, declined to comment through a spokesman, but is expected to come before the panel at some point. Power has repeatedly called for an investigation into alleged Russian interference in this election and has expressed a willingness to cooperate. I wonder if she'd be willing to cooperate with this Ukrainian situation that's going on as well, because she would be involved in that personally. Then finally, from the Washington Free Beacon, Susan Rice, a former President Barack Obama's national security advisor, is no longer expected to testify tomorrow. In a classified hearing before the House Intelligence Committee on allegations, she requested the identities of masked U.S. persons in intelligence reports linked to President Donald Trump's transition and campaign. I think this is a mistake. I think pushing her testimony back 1 minute is a bad idea. Why in heaven's name would you want to hear from Samantha Power? Why would you want to hear from her first? There's no reason to hear from her first. Why bother? The person you want to talk to is either Susan Rice, John Brennan, or James Clapper. Not so much James Clapper, but John Brennan for sure. Because he's the deep state actor in CIA. It wouldn't surprise me to find out that John Brennan had unmasked these people off the get-go. But like I said, if that's the case, then John Brennan would be headed towards prison. One thing is for sure, there are people in this who have dirty hands. But this is where I continue to call on Attorney General Jeff Sessions. I call on Jeff Sessions to put a special prosecutor on the tail of all these people. Put it in front of a grand jury, a federal grand jury, and let them decide whether they bill these people and say that a crime probably occurred and we're going to put them on trial, or whether they no-bill these people and say, let them go. At least at some point, we can quit talking about it. See, what bugs me about this whole thing is the intellectual dishonesty involved. We're going to listen to her. We're going to testify. No, she's not going to testify. Yes, we're going to have her back. And no, she's not going to testify. She's going to testify tomorrow. No, she's not going to testify tomorrow. And people are going, just whose side are the Republicans involved in this committee? Well, what side are they on? Cowgirl in Arlington, Texas. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hey, yes, there's no way this universe of people can accept defeat. And they're trying to rationalize to they're making an art form. It's the Olympics of irrationality trying to defeat Trump still, okay? And that is part of what Susan Rice is, the inability to accept the outcome of a clear election and this chronic inability to accept reality on these people. It's taking this, it's unbelievable.
Yes, it is. It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. And it's bordering on sedition here. Because these are high government officials that are creating problems for new high government officials. And the dutiful mainstream media is right there to collect every precious nugget of misinformation that they can publish, only to retract tomorrow. This is the Wells Report.
If you have retirement questions, you can bet Reed Johnson probably has the answer. Join him every Saturday at 9 for Wealth Smart. With over 17 years of experience, Reed can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. Wealth Smart is your source for all things retirement, from how current events could affect your savings to strategies to maximize your retirement income and everything in between. Don't miss Wealth Smart with Reed Johnson, the president of Lake Point Advisory Group, every Saturday at 9, right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
Do you have low back or neck pain? Does it run down your arms or your legs? Do you have a bulging or herniated disc degeneration, or spinal arthritis? Even worse, have you been told you need back surgery or injections? If you answered yes, then please listen to what I have to say. My name is Dr. Chad Vines, DC, at Genesis Back and Neck, and I use the most advanced spinal decompression system available, the DRX 9000, to correct back problems just like yours. We don't use addictive drugs, and we don't use any type of dangerous, invasive surgery for these problems. Spinal decompression is safe, FDA cleared, and it's not painful, and has about an 86% success rate. We accept most insurances, and your first visit will be at no charge. You will sit down and visit with me personally until I've answered all of your questions. And if you're a candidate for decompression, you can try out the treatment all at no charge to you. So if you're ready to not hurt anymore and don't want to have surgery, call me at 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922, or online at mylowback.com.
Hey, remember the mortgage meltdown of 2008? Have you tried to get a mortgage since then and been turned down? Or maybe you haven't even tried because your credit score is stuck at 585, or your tax returns have too many write-offs. Well, Cash Call Mortgage has great news for you. We've just introduced programs for people who've been told no. And what's doubly exciting is that we can solve your mortgage problems with no closing costs, no points, title, escrow, and no fees.
Wait. Cash Call, are you saying you now have credit and income-solving mortgages with no closing costs? Are you kidding?
You heard right. A credit or income-solving loan with no closing costs. Call 855-875-CASH, and we'll work with you to solve your mortgage issues. Make the cash call at 855-875-CASH.
First Mortgages, Impact Mortgage Corp., DBA Cash Call Mortgage, One City Boulevard, Orange, California, 92868, NMLS 128231. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states, not available in Washington State. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing, terms, and restrictions.
That's 855-875-CASH.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My husband and I wanted to buy a new car, and we don't have very good credit ratings, so the bank recommended Trinity, so we called them. And the people were very nice. They told us the best solution for our problems.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5348 to talk to a certified counselor.
Trinity consolidated our bills, got us a lower interest rate, and a much better monthly payment.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
We feel much better now. Things are going pretty well. And since we've been with Trinity, our credit rating has really improved.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5348.
My name is Ann, and we're debt-free for keeps.
1-800-936-5348.
Mike Gallagher here for Relief Factor. You might be asking, who should consider ordering Relief Factor? Well, anyone with pain that's keeping them from doing things that bring joy to their life. Maybe taking a long walk, not having the pain, riding a bike, playing golf again without pain, opening a jar or sewing or using a hammer, even rolling out of bed every morning without pain. For me, I had hip replacement, and then I had a little bit of a scooter accident in New York, left me miserable, aches and pains, until I started taking Relief Factor. Heard about them on the radio. I started to take Relief Factor, a packet in the morning, a packet in the evening. You know what? I was completely pain-free. I want to prove it to you by you taking the 3-week quick start from Relief Factor. It's only $19.95. Do you know 80% of those who take the quick start order again? We know it works. So if your pain isn't worth the price of a cup of coffee a day to lower, then you're not in much pain. If it is worth it, try the 3-week quick start. ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-500-8384, Relief Factor.
For the last decade, it's been called the greatest libertarian show on earth. This year will be no different. Attended by the most brilliant conservative minds today, join us for Freedom Fest, July 19th through the 22nd at the Paris Resort in Las Vegas. This year, come hear the likes of Craig Gutfeld from Fox News, actor William Shatner, and SRN's very own Larry Elder and Michael Medved. Register now at freedomfest.com and save $100 by using the code REASON100 at freedomfest.com.
660 AM, The Answer. The Wells Report with John David Wells. Must Hear Radio on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. This just in. About a half an hour ago, we found out that Republican Senators Mike Lee and Jerry Moran of Kansas, Mike Lee from Utah, Jerry Moran of Kansas, We're going to withhold their support of the BCRA, the Better Care Reconciliation Act. Yeah, that means that Mitch McConnell just announced that the entire health bill is on hold. So, in other words, obviously the current healthcare circumstance has failed. This will be something that will be talked about tomorrow, but you heard it first here on the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer. McConnell is deferring action on health care until such time as he can get it passed. Wow. And that's Senator Lee and Senator Moran. Yeah. The two senators joined Rand Paul of Kentucky, Susan Collins of Maine, who made it clear last week they would not support the bill. With a 52-48 majority, the two senators' opposition to the bill means it's effectively dead in the Senate. So, and then, of course, Chuck Schumer of New York says, well, this is proof that the Better Care Reconciliation Act is unworkable. Well, let's just go ahead and repeal the entire Obamacare. Let's do that. Let's see what he says about that. Oh, no way. No, hey, no, don't do that. Yeah, okay. Well, at least we got something passed, Senator Schumer. The legislation, which was strongly backed by President Trump, sort of, this is according to Fox News reporting, President Trump said, this will work or not. It seems to me that you could pass a complete repeal and just call it a day, which is what they should do. You should just repeal the whole thing, like I keep saying, send it back to the House for a reconciliation, then vote on it once, both sides vote on it once, etc. The Senate bill eliminated mandates and taxes under Obamacare, but not all of the taxes. It sort of unraveled a Medicaid expansion. I don't know why they keep reporting that. It just is the Medicaid expansion was not going to be as large under the Senate as it was going to be under the original Obamacare law. I don't know why they say that it unraveled because it wasn't that much money. Mitch in Dallas, welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hello. It appears that we're going to have Obamacare now, right?
No, what they're going to do is they're going to repeal the whole thing. That's the only move they have left.
Repeal and not replace?
They're just going to repeal and not replace, come back later. Or what they're going to do is they're going to repeal it in the Senate and do what I keep saying, which is to take it to a conference committee. And between the House bill, which is already passed, and the new Senate bill, which is just be a flat repeal, what they'll do is they'll find some middle ground, which would very likely not please the moderates, but would very likely repeal the conservatives, or actually appeal to the conservatives. And so there are more conservatives than moderates, therefore it would likely pass. But it's going to be close one way or another.
Okay, I think what's going to happen is they're not going to have the votes to repeal only.
Yeah, they will. They're going to have to. They're not going to like it, but they don't have any choice. If they don't do something like that before the midterm elections, they will be crucified in the media. Not so much by the Democrats, because the Democrats have issues here. They've got some problems in this. But the mainstream media will crucify the Republicans. This is the Wells Report.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. It's been said many times, people believe what they want to believe. Many will ignore logic and go with emotion because the fear of loss is always stronger than the opportunity for gain. This often happens when choosing a home improvement contractor. People are swayed by some pretty before and after pictures and a convincing story accompanied with what sounds like a too good to be true price. They should be concerned with how long have they been in business. What kind of warranties do they have, and are they in writing? Don't get me wrong, price is important, but it should not be the deciding factor. When I started Statewide Remodeling with my partner over 23 years ago, we said we wanted to offer the best products with the strongest warranty at a fair price. I can tell you that is still our goal today. So if you need a company you can trust to install new windows and doors, exterior siding and trim, sunrooms or patio covers, or a new kitchen or bathroom, call us now for a free estimate and receive 23% off your whole project. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095.
I used to play a lot of sports in college, but when I got older, my legs started to burn and ache, making it hard to work out. Then I noticed those varicose and spider veins. I couldn't believe it. I thought this only happened to my mom and her friends.
The professionals at Vein Clinics of America have performed over 1 million personalized procedures for their patients, making them the largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring your legs back to health in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
I called Vein Clinics of America, and they fixed my legs. No more ugly veins. Now I can run and do squats again.
Guys, get back in the game. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation with one of our doctors and learn how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call now. 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
Sure, you're good at what you do, but if you've ever found yourself knee-deep in spreadsheets with more emails than you can count, you could be doing much better. It's time to power up your productivity with the right business software. Let me tell you about Capterra.com. The search for software can be long and painful, and where do you even start? Capterra is an easy-to-use software comparison site with over 400 categories of business software for you to choose from. Whether you need help with website building, customer service, or project management, Capterra.com is the place to go. They have thousands of ratings and reviews from actual software users just like you. And using Capterra is absolutely free. You won't spend weeks or months searching the internet because all the information you need is in one place. And you won't waste time and money on software that's not right for your business. Visit Capterra.com today and join the millions of people who use Capterra every month. That's Capterra, Capterra.com. Capterra.com.
Warning, if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears, because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now. 1-800-600-1637. That's 1-800-600-1637. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-600-1637. 1-800-600-1637. 1-800-600-1637.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes, set up screener questions, manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Oh my goodness, I am tired of being known only as the guy who turns into a werewolf at the full moon. There's more to me than that. Just like Geico. Sure, they could save you money, but Geico also has a 97% customer satisfaction rating, so you know people love them. And yeah, I become a man beast once a month, but I become the world's greatest crepe chef every single Saturday morning.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
If you've got questions, we've got answers. 660 AM. The Answer. The Wells Report is on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. We have Trump news. Trump news. Trump news. Give me some Trump news. Give me Trump news. Give me Trump news. I'm singing with the music. What? It's a nice little groove there. All right, whatever. 866-660-5759's got Trump news. Trump news. Let's see. While you've been listening to stories of Russia and collusion and, that Ukrainian collusion with the Democrat Party that doesn't mean anything, but the Russian collusion with the Republican Party where no one connected to the government really had any information whatsoever. On the other hand, with people connected to the Ukrainian government, with the Ukrainian government as a matter of policy, believing that Trump would be negative to their dealings with the American government. That's just not, that doesn't mean anything. While you were paying attention to that, President Donald Trump's proposed budget for 2018 would reduce the deficit over the next decade by $160 billion and increase gross domestic product at the same time, according to a shaky analysis from the Congressional Budget Office. Trump's budget proposed a cutback in mandatory and discretionary spending that could only reduce the deficit, but the debt as well. Relative to the size of the economy, the federal budget deficits are projected to decline by 2.6% to 3.3% of gross domestic product over the next 10 years. By 2 points. Oh, yeah, okay. So in other words, right now, the budget deficit is 5.9%. So the budget deficit is 5.9% of gross domestic product. It's expected to decline 2.6% to 3.3%. Well, that's good. This would mean that the deficit would be roughly 1/3 smaller than it was originally projected to be. Trump's budget also aims to reduce the debt to 80% of GDP, which is 11 percentage points below the budget office's baseline. That's great. By the end of next decade, debt held by the public is projected to decline by 0.6% of GDP. Look, when your GDP is $14 trillion, which is about what ours is, that's a lot of money. All right. Now, I realize that we've got a debt of somewhere between 19 and $21 trillion. This is a start. The budget reduces mandatory spending by $2 trillion, which includes cuts to healthcare spending, student loans, spending on income security programs. Yeah, okay. Largest savings, $1.25 trillion over the 2018-2027 period, would stem from the proposal to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. Wow. Okay, so the Affordable Care Act was going to cost the United States $1.25 trillion over the next 9 years. Wow. An additional 10-year savings of $610 billion would result from changes to the Medicaid program. Now, remember, they're not going to take $610 billion out of Medicaid. They're taking $610 billion out of the increase in the budget of Medicaid. Jeez. Unbelievable. Okay, so the president passes this, or actually submits this budget, something President Obama only did once. President Trump put out a budget that would reduce the deficit by $160 billion, increase GDP, and reduce the national debt by 0.6%. And you didn't know anything about it until I read about it just then. So everybody knows that Stetson hats are made in Garland, Texas. George W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, Dwight Eisenhower, Teddy Roosevelt all got one. President Donald Trump donned a Stetson. This one was called the El Presidente. He got this thing made because of the Made in America showcase. It's part of his America First theme. All 50 states were represented at the event. Garland's Stetson Hat Company was the Texas representative. And this was the first time I ever saw someone who was decidedly not connected to the West actually put the cowboy hat on. And he looked good in it. It's a good hat. Good for them. Stetson set up a table of cowboy hats in the East Room of the White House with a big crowd looking on. Donald Trump tried on a white one, calling the hat beautiful. We have a hat here especially for him. It's called the El Presidente. It's the general edition that we had scripted on the head sweatband. Donald J. Trump, Make America Great Again, 45th president. This according to Dustin Noblet of Stetson Hats. Good for you, Dustin. And he did. He looked great in the hat. I like that. You can see a picture of it if you go to, I guess, let me see if I can figure out which newspaper this is. I think this is the Dallas Morning News. I think you can see it in the Dallas Morning News. Okay. He was putting on the hat. Like I said, it looks like $1 million on him. He put on the hat and was talking about trying to reduce the trade deficit with Mexico in a new NAFTA deal. No longer are we going to allow other countries to break the rules, steal our jobs, and drain our wealth, said Trump. Shortly after the remarks, the U.S. Trade Representative released an 18-page report about its goals for updating the decades-old North American Free Trade Agreement with Canada and Mexico. In addition to reducing the trade deficit, the administration wants to insert a chapter on the digital economy into the deal. It also wants to strengthen labor and environmental obligations, as well as amending the rules of origin so that more of the products traded come from the United States and North America. I like that. Fine. A trade deal that actually works for us. What do you know? Jim in Frisco. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hey, it's Tim, not Jim.
Hi, Tim. Tim?
Yeah.
Slim
right.
Tim Jim. Tim? Hi.
Okay, here's my question. You had mentioned that this Trump budget was going to reduce it by 0.6%. Is that 0.6% or 60%?
Oh, no. No, it's 0.6%. But you're talking about a GDP of $14 trillion.
Okay, well, I guess that's a good start, right?
It's a good start. I mean, when you start thinking about it, look, if we get rid of the Affordable Care Act, you take $1.25 trillion off the top of the American debt.
Yeah, that is a good start. Listen, I got one comment I want to tell you.
Sure.
I remember Mark Stein was talking to one of your compadres on the air years ago, Hugh Hewitt, when they were trying to shove Obamacare down our throats.
Yep.
And he said, and I quote, "This is a hill that the Democrats will want to die on." And they did. They died in the droves. But I don't see Republicans with the same willingness to die on this hill, and that really ticks me off.
Well, because if the Republicans die on this hill, that means that the entire program is gone. If the Democrats die on the hill, it means the entire program is here. Republicans, especially moderate Republicans, if they don't do anything, they get a vestige of Obamacare to build on for the future. So in other words, like I've been saying, Tim, conservatism in the hands of Republicans turns over what is absolutely necessary for the future of this nation into the worst stewards imaginable. Because they are willing to lie by omission in order to help facilitate a liberal government agenda.
I just can't. That can't happen. I mean, we are going to rue the day that this thing doesn't get cut out, because it's just going to be a drip, drip, drip. And I guess we just don't have enough diehard Republicans that are willing to do that.
It isn't,
that really is sad.
You see, the thing about it is that this is what I want you to wrap your mind around. There is no such thing as a diehard Republican. There are conservatives, but they're not diehard Republicans. You see, in the United States right now, we the people who are conservative and of like mind, in other words, the people who can read the Federalist, read the Declaration of Independence, read the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, those of us who can do all that are essentially conservatives. What we have done is we have turned over our agenda to Republicans. They are not conservatives.
Yeah. It seems like when Ronald Reagan left office, George Herbert Walker Bush kind of forgot.
No, he didn't forget. He was a moderate Republican, just like his son, just like his son George W. Bush.
Right. So the conservatives seem to be the anomaly.
Well, what we are is we are a danger to the body politic, because the body politic only functions because of power. And what we represent is we represent the founding of this nation that says you shall not have the power you seek.
Right. That's why they call it the framers, because it was designed to frame in the Constitution what they are frame in the government.
Yes, and what it does is it reduces the power of government. Now look, do I believe that the Constitution of the United States was brilliant and perfect for the time that it was written? Yes. Do I believe it's brilliant and perfect for this time? Not so much, but I am much closer to the original construction than we find our country in now. You know, I happen to think that the FBI is a good idea. I happen to think that the CIA is a good idea. I happen to think that there are a lot of things, the NSA, all of that is a very good idea, as long as they comport themselves to the basic rights of the American citizen as guaranteed by the Bill of Rights. Now, that's not where we are right now. So our framers were correct by saying that these things should not exist. On the other hand, you cannot have a government in this world without being able to read everybody else's mail. Now, the question is, do you have the okay, I'll just say it, Constitution? Do you have the toughness to look in the face of these patriotic clandestine services and tell them no?
You've got to at certain times. Concern is when you have an Obama in office, it gets abused.
Exactly. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now the FISA court knows they have a big problem. The FISA court realizes they have a tiger by the tail. That is why this razzmatazz surrounding Susan Rice is so critical. It's not so much that we want to see Susan Rice go to prison, not so much that we want to see John Brennan go to prison. What we want to see is the courts of the judicial branch of our government harshly deal with those who would use clandestine intelligence information against American citizens for political purposes.
And just like they did to General Flynn.
Just like they did with General Flynn. Flynn is the...
Do you really think they're going to be able to pin Susan Rice down? These people are slicker than duck, you know what?
Well, you know, the thing about it is that, yes, I do believe that they're going to nail her. And that's one of the reasons why I think the Republicans are trying to take her down on a felony. And I think they're going to, and what they need to do is what we all need to do, is we all need to contact Jeff Sessions. And we need to say, okay, we want a special prosecutor looking after Susan Rice, special prosecutor looking after President Obama's spying on AP reporters and James Rosen. We want a special prosecutor looking at Loretta Lynch and her misconduct. We want one looking at James Comey and just exactly what was he thinking when he kiboshed what was a real serious espionage complaint against Hillary Clinton. And we need to have a special prosecutor for Hillary Clinton. They need to put them all.
How about IRS?
Yes, and Loretta and not Loretta Lynch, but Lois Lerner. They need to do all that. They need to do all of that. And that brings us back to the question I asked earlier: are they made of the stern stuff necessary to do it? I wish they would, because the country needs them to. This is the Wells Report.
Sean Hannity explains how Trump retains the White House.
If the Republicans want to stay in power and the president wants to be successful, it's not going to be the noise and the vile rhetoric that prevents him from being in office. What's going to keep him in office is the president keeping his promises.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Larry Elder at 5 on 660 AM. The Answer.
In 1967, Arab forces attempted to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. 6 days later, Israel triumphed, and Jerusalem stood reunified for the first time in nearly 2,000 years. Honor the 50-year anniversary of this historic triumph by joining Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager for Stand with Israel, a 9-day odyssey celebrating Israel's past, present, and future. Explore Israel's heritage at Galilee and Jerusalem. Embrace the present, touring modern Tel Aviv. You'll meet with high-ranking Israeli leaders and understand more deeply the complexities and marvels of modern Israel. You'll walk on soil contended for with courage. As a conservative American, you can show your support. Stand with Israel. October 22nd through November 1st includes luxury accommodations, delicious meals, and safe transportation.
Look forward to something special this year. Stand with Israel. For details about this all-inclusive trip happening this fall, visit 660amtheanswer.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code 660AM.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30s, 60s, or 90s? Can't get a business loan because you have no equity, bad credit, or no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors. Get cash right now for your invoices instead of getting turned down by the banks or taking out a high-interest business loan. There is nothing to pay back. We simply buy your accounts receivable. And if those clients don't pay on those invoices, we take the loss. You have already been paid. We don't give you funds based on your credit. We give you funds based on your accounts receivable. Go buy that new equipment, hire those new employees, or use the working funds to bid on jobs you never thought you could go after. With AmeriFactors, there is no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the working funds while we wait for the net 30s, 60s, and 90s. Fund your business today with AmeriFactors by calling 800-698-9150. That's 800-698-9150. Or text FACTOR to 41411. That's FACTOR to 41411. And simply click the link to call and get funds within 48 hours.
Do you know what a RIA is? It's a real estate investor association, and it's where smart people go to obtain wholesale houses, obtain no money, no credit financing, meet local buyers, sellers, and investing partners, and receive local market intelligence and training. Don't buy houses retail. That's ridiculous. And please don't waste your time and money going to a get-rich-quick seminar from a traveling pitchman. Come network with local Dallas area real estate investors that are just getting started or taking it to the next level. Come join the largest real estate investor network in Texas. We meet on Thursday, July 25th at 6 p.m. at the Embassy Suites DFW Airport North in Grapevine. And you can register to attend for free by calling 800-717-3320. This month's topic is how to make money learning with pre-foreclosure houses. Call 800-717-3320. Write it down. That's 800-717-3320 to attend any of our upcoming meetings and receive a valuable Texas real estate training program for free. Brought to you by the Dallas Real Estate Investment Association.
Sean Hannity here for my friends at Generator Supercenter, the great American story. Now, this started in 2005 with two brothers selling and repairing generators out of their garage in Texas. Today, they are the #1 Generac dealer in the nation. #1 means more savings for you. When the power goes down, keep your home or business up and running with a Generac standby power system from the Generator Supercenter. Financing available, payments as low as $100 a month. GeneratorSupercenter.com. That's GeneratorSupercenter.com.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Let's see. Hey, Wayne. You there, Wayne?
Yeah.
I want to answer your question, but I'm going to have to keep you until after the top of the hour.
Okay.
Can you do that, or can we call you back or something like that?
No, I can do that.
All right, hang on, Wayne, because he's got a great question about if the repeal doesn't work and nothing happens, what happens when it's time to sign up? Well, I got an answer, and I'll give that to you in just a couple of seconds. Donnie in Plano, welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Yeah, thanks, John David. Got a question now. With McConnell in the Senate, if people like all these people that aren't going with the repeal Obama, can he take those off? Can he take those people off the committees?
Yeah, he can, but remember who you're talking about there. That's Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is not interested in seeing Obamacare get repealed. He doesn't want Obamacare to get repealed. He's one of these moderate Republicans that's actually a Democrat that actually wants to see it continue. So he's not going to punish. He's not going to punish these moderate Republicans for doing what he wants to see happen. I mean, he's kind of in a position where he can't stomp on the conservatives either, because the conservatives actually have more support among the country, the people of the country, as far as I can tell. But that the moderate Republicans that are holding up this whole mess in an effort to continue Obamacare, they are the real villains in this piece. They're the people that we need to do something about from a standpoint of elective politics, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to get these people. We got to get these people out of American politics by diselecting them, primarying them, and replacing them. This is the Wells Report.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis. It's going to be a long, hot summer of conservative battles as we try to get things done that we were looking to achieve in the election of President Trump. And as we move through the summer with challenges around every corner, there's something you and I can do. There's something I do every day, and you can join me, and that's being a Patriot Mobile customer. PatriotMobile.com/Mark for special offers just for you, or 1-800-A-PATRIOT. What is the difference you make when you sign up with Patriot Mobile? Well, if you're in bed with Big Mobile right now, your money went to Hillary for president. Goes to all kinds of causes on the left, and that stops. They only contribute to conservative causes and candidates at Patriot Mobile, and we as customers get to pick them. So learn more at 1-800-A-PATRIOT and PatriotMobile.com/Mark. Learn about the fantastic plans. You're going to get great customer service, same phone selection, bring over your same phone number, and save a bunch with Patriot Mobile. Learn more and move conservatism downfield. PatriotMobile.com/Mark, PatriotMobile.com/Mark, or 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
My legs were awful.
I always felt uncomfortable and self-conscious.
I had never been real happy about the spider veins in my ankles and my legs.
I started noticing fatigue in my leg.
I was so self-conscious. Then I went to Vein Clinics of America.
It's time to love your legs again. Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatment, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
I found the Vein Clinics of America and look at my leg.
Check. You know what I think? I think it's completely ironic that a bill that is supposed to try to take care of the health care of millions upon millions of Americans cannot be kept alive by politicians trying to pass it. In other words, we talk about the untimely death of the Better Health Reconciliation Act next time on the Wells Report. Okay. Mark Davis, good Tuesday morning, brother. Thank you very much for letting me come by and say hello and tell people what's coming up on the Wells Report a little bit later on today. We're going to be talking about the irony involved in the fact that the doctors of American politics cannot keep the patient that is the Better Care Reconciliation Act. That's what it is. That the doctors of the body politic cannot keep. You know what? I need to start all these over again because I got the name of the bill wrong. The Better Care Reconciliation Act. Okay, the BCRA. You know, I think it's amazing that the doctors of the body politic could not keep their patient, the Better Care Reconciliation Act, from being DOA in today's fumbling stupidity of the Democrat. Let me try it again. You know what I think is ironic? I think it's ironic that the doctors of the body politic, Senate Republicans, cannot keep their only patient alive, that being the Better Care Reconciliation Act, in their own chamber. And that particular bill is supposed to take care of the health care of everybody else. In other words, Republicans have killed their own patient. What comes next? We talk about it next time on the Wells Report. You happy with that? Mark Davis, good Tuesday morning, brother. Thank you very much for letting me come by and say hello. Isn't it stupid? The doctors of the body politic, and I'm talking about the Republicans in the Senate of the United States, cannot keep their only patient alive, the Better Care Reconciliation Act, so it's DOA on the Senate floor as we talk right this minute. What comes up next? Who knows? But we'll probably have an answer later on tonight on the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
The Mark Davis Show. Weekday mornings at 7, right before Mike Gallagher at 10 on 660 AM The Answer.
This is a crime warning for home and property owners. High property values have created a devastating crime called title fraud. Thieves are targeting homes in your area. Take it from this retired FBI agent.
Home title fraud is when a thief steals your identity and transfers your home's title to his name. Once he controls your title, he can take out a loan and stick you with a payment. He can change title so he inherits your home. He can even sell your home and evict you. Title insurance doesn't protect you. Neither does your bank or identity theft protection. I protect my home with Home Title Lock, and you should too.
Home Title Lock forms a virtual perimeter around your home's title. The instant it detects activity to your home's title or mortgage, it's on it, helping to shut it down. If you own a home or property, get Home Title Lock. And to be sure you're not already a title fraud victim, get your home's title history, a $60 value, free with sign-up. Visit HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code DEFEND. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code DEFEND.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. It's been said many times, people believe what they want to believe. Many will ignore logic and go with emotion because the fear of loss is always stronger than the opportunity for gain. This often happens when choosing a home improvement contractor. People are swayed by some pretty before and after pictures and a convincing story accompanied with what sounds like a too good to be true price. They should be concerned with how long have they been in business? What kind of warranties do they have? And are they in writing? Don't get me wrong, price is important, but it should not be the deciding factor. When I started Statewide Remodeling with my partner over 23 years ago, we said we wanted to offer the best products with the strongest warranty at a fair price. I can tell you that is still our goal today. So if you need a company you can trust to install new windows and doors, exterior siding and trim, sunrooms or patio covers, or a new kitchen or bathroom, call us now for a free estimate and receive 23% off your whole project. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095.
William Noble offers extraordinary estate jewelry, exceptional diamonds, and rare jewels to the world's most discerning customer. But did you know they also purchase jewelry? They purchase diamonds, jewelry, and watches in all sizes and price ranges. Here's William Noble.
We believe that if you have jewelry that you've inherited, you're not wearing anymore, that there's no sense in keeping that in a lockbox or a safe. Bring it to us. We can evaluate for it, give you your options. You can always sell it. You can redesign it. You can even trade it. But we will give you the options and educate you what you can do with that jewelry and what we would do if we were in your shoes.
It's one of the many reasons why, for 34 years, people of Dallas-Fort Worth have trusted William Noble, providing the highest standards of design, craftsmanship, and excellence in luxury jewelry. And if you have a piece you'd like to sell, look no further than William Noble. Call them at 214-526-3890. That's 214-526-3890. Or visit WilliamNoble.com. That's WilliamNoble.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-827-5948 now. That's 800-827-5948 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-827-5948 to learn more. 800-827-5948. That's 800-827-5948. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-200-9887. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-200-9887. That's 1-800-200-9887. 1-800-200-9887.
You can listen on the go. Find us on iHeartRadio. 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. Let's talk to Wayne. Wayne's been hanging on for a long time. Wayne, you had a question you wanted to ask, and I want to answer it for you.
Yeah, the clock's ticking here pretty soon.
Yep.
Even if you have insurance through a company,
yes,
you may want to make changes or something. You have to reinstate it. And then if you're on Obamacare or whatever, you have to sign up in that window so you have it for 2018. And so if they go to conference committee, if they repeal it and don't do anything, they go to conference committee and they don't work it out there. And as you say, well, it's okay. They've done nothing but repeal it. So then at that point, it's sign-up time, and what do?
Well, Wayne, here's the situation. One, if you already have an existing health care plan, you can stick with it. And instead of the typical Obama idea, you can actually stick with your plan.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know why you would, but without Obamacare there's no reason to keep those plans in place. In other words, your insurance company would probably fix them so that they wouldn't overpay whatever claim you might have, and you wouldn't overpay for your coverage. And then your deductible would come back down, and so on and so forth. You'd get relief. All right? So that's probably what would happen.
Now that's it. You're saying that if they did nothing, or what, let's say, was put in by the conference committee, then the insurance companies would be able to sell across state lines.
Well, no. The insurance companies, by the way, they don't want to sell across state lines because they've got these great little monopolies per state. Right. So what you need to do is you need to force them into selling across state lines, and you need to do it in a profitable way for them. So in the conference committee, you create catastrophic health care that you can sell across state lines, and individual health care policies you can sell across state lines. It's like your car insurance is not given to you by your employer. Your car insurance is something you pay for.
Right.
Same thing with your health insurance. That way you have portability. You don't have to worry about losing your job. You never have to worry about another COBRA payment again because all you got to do is pay your premium. And that's what you want to do anyway, Wayne. You know what? Yeah. Here's the Wayne deal.
My situation's different because I'm retired.
Well, here's the deal that most people need. Okay. If indeed, and this was why the Cruz amendment was so good. Okay.
Yeah.
The Cruz amendment said that if you had an ACA policy and you wanted to keep it, you could, which means that you if you had a pre-existing condition could cover yourself because you just take the Obamacare policy and just continue, right? But if you didn't want that, and if you didn't have a pre-existing condition, then just get yourself a different policy, right? And so that's what most of us want. And so the thing about it is that you want your own care anyway, man. You have your own health care. You just want that. And so you want the government as far away from this as you can possibly get them. Because all they're going to do is screw it up.
No, yeah. But the other concern I have is, and this is working out just like it did with Obamacare, and having some experience in this, I know that the insurance companies are up there trying to push what they want.
Sure.
But the thing is you haven't heard a peep out of them. So at this point, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, what they're doing is they're talking to our representatives. And they're talking to the conservatives, and they're talking to, well, they're not talking to the conservatives. They are talking to the moderates, and the moderates are screwing this up for everyone. This is a case where the moderate Republicans in the Republican Party are proving themselves to be Democrats, and they need to be punished. And this is why we conservatives need to stop giving our agenda to the Republican Party. They are not conservative. They are not ever going to be conservative. We need to command and control our own destiny with our own political policy. And the only way you can do that is to have a conservative party. You see, if there was a viable conservative party in the United States, the Republican Party would cease to exist in 10 years or less. Because all the Republican Party is a party that facilitates. The Republican Party wants to stay in the middle. They want to throw their support behind a good Democrat idea, and then if there's a good Republican idea, or if there's a good conservative idea, they'll throw their weight behind that, and they'll just play both ends against the middle. Well, that pisses all of us off. Okay, because I believe in principles, and I believe in standing for your principles. And I believe that if you don't stand for your principles, then what good are you? And so that being said, you know, I'm really in a position where I say, okay, how about you guys? How about you guys go and do something different? How about you guys leave us alone and let us go ahead and handle our own conservative agenda? And what we do is we take all the guys that were elected as part of the Freedom Caucus, and we make them honorary conservatives. As a matter of fact, we just make them conservatives, you know, for like our own primaries. You know, we put a C behind their name, you know, or parentheses open C, close parentheses. And we vet them as the party would. Eventually, they'll just be conservatives. And like, for example, if I ever ran for the Congress, or if I ever ran for public office, I would run as a conservative, a member of the Conservative Party. I wouldn't run as a Republican or a Democrat. And the reason is because I don't want to be disappointed by Republicans again. I have decided that the Republicans are terrible conservatives. And it's like trying to teach a pig to sing. It frustrates you, and it pisses off the pig. So I'm kind of done. Are there Republicans I would vote for? Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are Republicans that I will continue to vote for. But do you remember Joe Lieberman? Joe Lieberman upset the Democrats who were rushing headlong into being secular progressives. Okay, they wanted to be elitist progressives. And Joe Lieberman wasn't having anything to do with that and said, I'm not going to play. And they threw him out of the party. He ran as an independent write-in candidate in Connecticut and won. If I was in a situation like that, I would not have run as an independent. I would have run as a conservative. And I would work to change the Tea Party to the C Party. From being the Tea Party to being the Conservative Party. I would go to every Tea Party in the state. And I'd say, change that T to a C. Because the entire infrastructure is all in place. You know, what happened under the noses of everyone was the fact that the Tea Party elected governors and senators and countless state representatives and countless state senators, governors, U.S. senators, House of Representatives members. The Reform Party never did that. Ever. There has never been a third-party movement like the Tea Party, because no third-party movement, well, the Republican Party back in the day, of Lincoln's terms, in Lincoln's term, he was the first Republican president. But that has gone on right under everyone's noses. And right under everybody's noses, this whole thing has happened, and nobody's reporting on it. Why? It is an honest-to-goodness political movement, the likes of which we've never seen, certainly not in our lifetimes. So, we have a decision to make at some point. And I'm usually 4 or 5 years ahead. You know, if you remember this conversation 5 years from now, you'll say, wow, that guy was right this whole time. Yeah. It's true. And I hope that I continue to be correct. You know, I do. Because like I said, the Republican Party would just fade into nothingness, fade into irrelevance. And they should. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. In other words, Wayne, don't worry. One of the greatest things that ever happened to me, ever, was when it happened years and years and years ago. It happened before I came to Salem. I had to purchase my own health care plan. It was a 70-30 plan. I would have, it far surpassed Obamacare. I mean, I had a much better policy. It was perfect. It cost me less. And what you really want to do more than anything is you want to get your own health care policy, and then you want your company to give you the allowance that they would normally give to an insurance company, and they need to add that to your paycheck. Whatever their allowance is. Like if you're paying $250 per paycheck for your health insurance, they're probably paying somewhere in the vicinity of $125. Ask them to give you the $125. Hell, tell them to keep the $25, just give you $100. And if you're paying $300 or $400, and I can't remember what I was paying. I think I was paying like $300 or $400. Suddenly, you're paying $150 for your health insurance. And you know what? That's called affordable. And it was portable, and it was everything. And I think I'm probably going to end up doing it next time I have a chance. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
Mike Gallagher says work is getting done in Washington despite what you see from the mainstream media.
An awful lot continues to get done in this Trump White House. Day in and day out. Bills are being signed. Legislation is being tackled. Yes, healthcare is going to be tricky. It's going to be tough. But if anybody can do it, it's this guy. You know it, and I know.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekday mornings at 10, right before Dennis Prager at noon on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hello, Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor here. I got a little show on the weekends, Sunday morning, and it's about natural organic gardening. We talk about landscaping and pest control. We talk about tree care. We talk about specific pest control on some things where other people say there are no solutions. Things like oak wilt, rose rosette, crepe myrtle bark scale, and fungal canker on Italian cypress. Join me every Sunday morning, 8 to 11, right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
At Simple Sleep Services, we believe the best way to treat the serious medical condition of sleep apnea is the easy way. Our team of doctors are experts in providing the least invasive treatment for snoring and sleep apnea, a custom-fit, comfortable solution that you simply pop in before bed each night and wake up feeling refreshed. And it's covered by medical insurance. You don't have to endure the cumbersome CPAP mask or go through the pain and downtime of surgery or implants. We are the most experienced team in the nation providing our treatment. Your diagnosis will be from a board-certified sleep physician using today's latest technology. Let us start you down the path of a restful night's sleep. Visit simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. Treat your sleep apnea and snoring the simple way. No CPAP, no surgery, no implants, just simple sleep. Go to simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. Don't spend another night on the couch or sleeping alone. simplesleepservices.com.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-600-8199. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible, without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-600-8199. That's 1-800-600-8199. 1-800-600-8199.
Amazing to realize, but you know, it's been almost 2 years I've been talking with you about Relief Factor, and I can tell you I've been continually inundated with testimonials. This is Michael Medved, and I've received thousands of testimonials that come in telling me how excited people are to be out of pain, like Bob from Ohio, who writes, I had a herniated disc in my back in 1984. I started taking Relief Factor, and for the first time, I have been completely out of constant, sometimes excruciating pain. I'm now able to work in the yard, around the house, and do my job in comfort. This is a great product. That's the end of the quote. If you're struggling with ongoing back or neck pain, shoulder, hip, or knee pain, or general muscle pain, aches, pains of any kind, do what tens of thousands of others have done so successfully. Go to relieffactor.com and order their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. 1-800-500-8384. That's 1-800-500-8384.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. In the last 2 months, we've saved our customers over $500,000. How'd we do it? With our exclusive partnership with your utility provider, we get to offer instant rebates of up to $1,500 when you replace that worn-out AC system. When you combine that with Carrier's Cool Cash savings of up to $3,500, we're talking saving over $5,000 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. Now that's how you save people money without gimmicks. But you'll have to hurry because the utility funds can run out at any time. So we're scheduling our free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. So call 2 other companies first, get their price, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Call 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Dallas, Fort Worth's home for stimulating talk. 660 AM, The Answer. Now, by popular demand, The Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. O.J. Simpson is going to have a parole hearing As a matter of fact, it's going to happen on Thursday. He is inmate 1027820. Those parole board commissioners must decide whether the most infamous men in the nation, that's infamous in case you speak English, imprisoned nearly a decade ago for a bungled Las Vegas robbery, walks out of prison. But according to two former chairs of the state parole board, the commissioners will treat O.J. Simpson, who turned 70 last weekend, just like any other potential parolee. That's really the beauty of the system, said Dorla Salling. It's the same for everyone. Doesn't matter what your name is. Simpson was acquitted in 1995 of the murders of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman, after a lengthy trial that riveted America. He was found civilly liable for the killings in a 1997 civil case. The so-called trial of the century captivated the country again last year with the release of an Emmy-winning FX miniseries that dramatized the legal saga and an Oscar-winning ESPN documentary that delved into the social issues surrounding it. Thomas Patton said that those particular programs may have ignited public fascination with the case, but will not shade the opinions of Nevada officials. They're going to be looking at the way he handled himself in prison. They're going to be looking to see where his mind is right now. Whether he's likely to repeat. In 2008, Simpson was found guilty of robbing two sports memorabilia dealers at gunpoint in a Las Vegas hotel room. He had broken in with five other men, seized several items he believed were his property: game balls, plaques, photos of his children. Simpson was convicted of kidnapping, armed robbery, and 10 other charges. Judge Jackie Glass sentenced him to 33 years behind bars, with the possibility of parole after 9. He was granted parole on some of the charges against him in 2013, by the way. 4 of his accused accomplices, Michael McClinton, Walter Alexander, Charles Ehrlich, and Charles Cashmore, took plea deals and testified against Simpson. They were sentenced to probation. The 5th accused accomplice, Clarence C.J. Stewart, stood trial and was convicted. That conviction was later overturned by the Nevada Supreme Court, which ruled Stewart had been denied a fair trial. McClinton declined to be interviewed for this article. The other men did not respond to requests for comment from NBC News. Bruce Fromong, one of the collectibles sellers, also declined to be interviewed. The other dealer died in 2015. Simpson will be able to speak. This according to David Smith. He will appear via video conference from the Lovelock Correctional Center, a medium security prison northeast of Reno. The commissioners will consider 11 objective criteria before deciding whether to grant Simpson parole. They're looking at the severity of the crime. They're looking at the individual's personal and prior criminal history, looking at histories of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and other factors. It's a big picture. They do a very thorough investigation. They'll ask about his behavior in prison, ask him questions about his plans for the future, where he plans to live if he's released. The question is, if you were on that parole board, would you grant O.J. Simpson parole? Yes or no? And why? This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis. It's going to be a long, hot summer of conservative battles as we try to get things done that we were looking to achieve in the election of President Trump. And as we move through the summer with challenges around every corner, there's something you and I can do. There's something I do every day, and you can join me, and that's being a Patriot Mobile customer. PatriotMobile.com/Mark for special offers just for you, or 1-800-A-PATRIOT. What is the difference you make when you sign up with Patriot Mobile? Well, if you're in bed with Big Mobile right now, your money went to Hillary for president. Goes to all kinds of causes on the left, and that stops. They only contribute to conservative causes and candidates at Patriot Mobile, and we as customers get to pick them. So learn more at 1-800-A-PATRIOT and PatriotMobile.com/Mark. Learn about the fantastic plans. You're going to get great customer service, same phone selection, bring over your same phone number, and save a bunch with Patriot Mobile. Learn more and move conservatism downfield. PatriotMobile.com/Mark, PatriotMobile.com/Mark, or 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code 660AM.
Warning, if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears, because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now. 1-800-600-1637. That's 1-800-600-1637. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-600-1637. 1-800-600-1637. 1-800-600-1637.
I used to play a lot of sports in college, but when I got older, my legs started to burn and ache, making it hard to work out. Then I noticed those varicose and spider veins. I couldn't believe it. I thought this only happened to my mom and her friends.
The professionals at Vein Clinics of America have performed over 1 million personalized procedures for their patients, making them the largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring your legs back to health in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
I called Vein Clinics of America, and they fixed my legs. No more ugly veins. Now I can run and do squats again.
Guys, get back in the game. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation with one of our doctors and learn how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call now. 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
Do you know what a RIA is? It's a real estate investor association, and it's where smart people go to obtain wholesale houses, obtain no money, no credit financing, meet local buyers, sellers, and investing partners, and receive local market intelligence and training. Don't buy houses retail. That's ridiculous. And please don't waste your time and money going to a get-rich-quick seminar from a traveling pitchman. Come network with local Dallas area real estate investors that are just getting started or taking it to the next level. Come join the largest real estate investor network in Texas. We meet on Thursday, July 25th at 6 p.m. at the Embassy Suites DFW Airport North in Grapevine. And you can register to attend for free by calling 800-717-3320. This month's topic is how to make money learning with pre-foreclosure houses. Call 800-717-3320. Write it down. That's 800-717-3320 to attend any of our upcoming meetings and receive a valuable Texas real estate training program for free. Brought to you by the Dallas Real Estate Investment Association.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. The Wells Report, a daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report, day after tomorrow. No, actually 2 days after tomorrow. The Nevada Board of Parole will convene in Carson City to consider whether O.J. Simpson should go free. Do you believe he should? 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Should O.J. Simpson go free on Thursday? He actually won't go free on Thursday. It'll take a while for them to process him out, etc. They'll make sure that he has a chance to rehab from institutional life and become a bit more used to life on the outside again. I wonder how he's going to handle all this. I doubt very sincerely that he'll ever do if I actually did it, I would have. That may have sunk his ship earlier in his life. But I doubt he'll do that again. Not only that, but I also think that at some point you have to chill out. But what I'm interested in is this. It's not so much whether O.J. Simpson is paroled on Thursday for me. For me, I'm going to wonder what happens when and if, and I hope he does. I hope he wills his brain to the CTE examination. That's the one that looks for brain damage from excessive concussions. Many people that have died tragically have had CTE. I know the last word is encephalopathy, but I don't know what the first two are. Suppose I can look it up here. Hang on a second. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Okay. What ends up happening is that your brain tissue exhibits small, very small little blood clots all through your brain tissue. You know, some concentrated in some parts more than others. But, and I'm not saying that CTE is an excuse for anybody's behavior. But if chronic traumatic encephalopathy is present in O.J. Simpson's brain, would that change your point of view about him? Eight 866-660-5759. I will never forget talking to my dad about O.J. Simpson. And he was doing his ABC Sports life. You know, he was on top of the world. I mean, he was the guy that first realized that Bo Jackson, after the hit that he took on and damage to his hip, was never going to be Bo Jackson again. He was the guy that first figured that out. He broke the story. And I remember talking to Dad about O.J. Simpson, and Dad said, you know, he's a bad guy. He does not live anywhere close to his public image. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He exhibits a lot of the symptomology. And like I said, it doesn't matter one way or another from a standpoint. I think you're responsible for your behavior. But if it actually did occur, if he did have brain damage from his years as an NFL running back, would it change your view of him? I played a little bit of football in the California Football League, probably 3/4 of a season, until I thought I'd been hit by a train. I was playing wingback or H-back, the gap receiver in a pro set, and I got hit by a free safety once. I hung onto the ball, and I don't know how I managed, because the last thing I remember doing was catching the ball. And then I was on my hands and knees looking at the grass, and the grass was black and white. The whole field was black and white. I could see no color. And I realized I had just taken one amazing shot. And I said to myself, right then, I said, to hell with this stupid game. And I turned in my gear and I walked away. I said, can't do this, guys. Sorry, but when you've always seen color, you don't want to keep doing that until you don't see it anymore. I deeply worry about guys who are boxers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the sport. MMA fighters, not so much. I've always wanted to be a boxing judge and a boxing referee. But in order to do that, I'd have to go through MMA to get experience and license and all that stuff. I just don't want to do that. I mean, boxing is bad enough. But to see guys go in there barehanded, I mean, it's a testament to the kind of punishment that you can train yourself to take. But what are you left with at the end of the day? Roger Staubach walked away from pro football arguably at the height of his powers. And he said, because I did not want to end up being a liability to my family. And you've seen people go downhill just dramatically. Jim McMahon. I haven't seen Jim McMahon in a couple of years, but the last time I heard of him, it was about a year and a half ago. He was being interviewed with Dan Patrick, and he was still able to tell the difference between his dementia and the reality around him. But you see those men who played NFL football that are simply gone. John Mackey was one of the biggest examples of that. John Mackey was an eloquent, brilliant man who played NFL football at the top of, he's a Hall of Famer, was a Hall of Famer. And he just faded away until he was gone. But the difference between that man in a 60 Minutes interview and the man who gave his Hall of Fame speech was tragic. Whether you believe that O.J. Simpson killed his wife and her friend or not, whether you believe he got his deserved comeuppance for trying to steal back what he arguably believed was his life is a tragedy. He started out basically with nothing. His body gave him riches beyond his wildest dreams. And the good O.J. gave him a television career that was Hall of Fame on its own. And then he changed. Maybe he started by believing his own press clippings. And maybe after the trial, he decided that he was bulletproof. Maybe he felt like he'd actually gotten away with murder and that made him special, or what have you. Or maybe it drove him crazy. Maybe having to live without his personal belongings because of the civil trial. Maybe that was what caused him to snap. Or maybe it was chronic traumatic encephalopathy. But his life is a tragedy. And it's sad to see this man at age 70 walking out of a prison in Nevada for the silliest of things. You think that maybe his biggest weakness, his most glaring fault, wasn't arrogance. It wasn't ego. But maybe it was that he did not possess an identity of his own. Most of us, you take us away from our professional pursuits, and we have a life. You know, I'm a dad and I'm a husband, and I mean, if I have to identify myself by a profession, I would say that I was a Texas State Guard soldier more than I would a broadcaster. Not because I don't take great pride in my broadcasting, but because at the end of the day, I'm a worker bee. I like it. It gives me great pleasure to do something measurable. It gives me great pleasure to serve. But if you're O.J. Simpson, maybe you are that Heisman Trophy. Maybe that is you. And you are those game balls, and you are those jerseys hanging on the wall. Maybe that's all you have left. And maybe that's why you spent most of your life fighting for something you could no longer be. That the only thing you had were the relics of a life you once led to remind you that you were still that guy, even though you were not still that guy. Like I said, regardless of what happens on Thursday, the life of O.J. Simpson is a tragedy. This is the Wells Report.
Hello, Howard. Garrett the Dirt Doctor here. I got a little show on the weekends, Sunday morning, and it's about natural organic gardening. We talk about landscaping and pest control. We talk about tree care. We talk about specific pest control on some things where other people say there are no solutions. Things like oak wilt, rose rosette, crepe myrtle bark scale, and fungal canker on Italian cypress. Join me every Sunday morning, 8 to 11, right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
If you have retirement questions, you can bet Reed Johnson probably has the answer. Join him every Saturday at 9 for Wealth Smart. With over 17 years of experience, Reed can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. Wealth Smart is your source for all things retirement, from how current events could affect your savings to strategies to maximize your retirement income and everything in between. Don't miss Wealth Smart with Reed Johnson, the president of Lake Point Advisory Group, every Saturday at 9, right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it. Trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free, no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-700-6492. That's 1-800-700-6492. 1-800-700-6492.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friends at Simple Sleep Services. If snoring is a problem in your life, and if it's a problem in your life, it's a problem for everybody in your life, let's get the simplest, least invasive solution. That's what they did for me at Simple Sleep Services. What you have with Simple Sleep is a way to avoid implants and surgery and the CPAP device by just calling 469-685-1700. 469-685-1700. They're in Dallas and Fort Worth. Insurance covers most folks. It's the Somnodent device. Simple appliance. They make it for you. They did one for me. You take it home, you pop it in, kiss your wife goodnight, and silent night. Absolutely fantastic. Diagnosis from a board-certified sleep physician. They have a home sleep study, so you're not in some lab. Call them for more information. 469-685-1700. 469-685-1700. SimpleSleepServices.com. Wonderful people. I'm so glad I met them, and you will be too. 469-685-1700 or SimpleSleepServices.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Attention, it is illegal to text and drive. So if you're experiencing hair loss and you want a permanent solution, please pull over now, because an incredible offer that could give you your hair back is just one text away. Bosley is the world's most experienced hair restoration expert, always pioneering the latest technology. And now, we're giving everyone who texts the word GROW to 543-543, an absolutely free information kit that reveals just how easy and affordable this permanent solution really is. Don't wait. When you text GROW to 543-543, we'll also give you a gift certificate for $250 off. Millions of men and women have come to Bosley for a permanent solution to hair loss. So pull over now and see for yourself how great your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit. Text GROW to 543-543. Plus, get a free gift certificate. This amazing offer is just one text away. GROW to 543-543.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. It's been said many times, people believe what they want to believe. Many will ignore logic and go with emotion because the fear of loss is always stronger than the opportunity for gain. This often happens when choosing a home improvement contractor. People are swayed by some pretty before and after pictures and a convincing story accompanied with what sounds like a too good to be true price. They should be concerned with how long have they been in business. What kind of warranties do they have, and are they in writing? Don't get me wrong, price is important, but it should not be the deciding factor. When I started Statewide Remodeling with my partner over 23 years ago, we said we wanted to offer the best products with the strongest warranty at a fair price. I can tell you that is still our goal today. So if you need a company you can trust to install new windows and doors, exterior siding and trim, sunrooms or patio covers, or a new kitchen or bathroom, call us now for a free estimate and receive 23% off your whole project. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095.
Listen to us live on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
It's amazing just how deep the deep state goes. Newly minted U.S. citizens receive a letter from the current president of the United States welcoming them as Americans. However, Some new citizens recently received a letter from Barack Obama, the person no longer in the White House. Attention to the mistake was raised when a columnist for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch said last Friday she noticed the name signed on her British-born husband's letter from the president was not that of President Donald Trump. Quote, "My British-born husband takes his oath of citizenship today," Aisha Sultan wrote on Twitter. In the packet for new Americans, the welcome letter from POTUS was from Obama. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Press Secretary Gillian Christian told The Hill the packets signed by Obama were an administrative oversight. About 200 letters from the previous administration were distributed. Approximately 300,000 people have been naturalized since Trump entered the White House, she said, but naturally, instead of reporting on the 300,000 letters that came from Donald Trump, they obviously have to report on the 200 that did not. There you go. Is there anything else you need to know about the deep state and this unbelievable, dishonest mainstream media? Is there anything else you really need to know? The executive producer of the Wells Report is Vicki Stifer. Technical director, conductor of the Wells Report Orchestra is Magic Matt Swinney. My name is John David Wells. Thank you very much for listening tonight. We hope you join us again tomorrow for another edition of the Wells Reports, 660 a.m. The Answer. See you then.
Do you know what a RIA is? It's a real estate investor association, and it's where smart people go to obtain wholesale houses, obtain no money, no credit financing, meet local buyers, sellers, and investing partners, and receive local market intelligence and training. Don't buy houses retail. That's ridiculous. And please don't waste your time and money going to a get-rich-quick seminar from a traveling pitchman. Come network with local Dallas area real estate investors that are just getting started or taking it to the next level. Come join the largest real estate investor network in Texas. We meet on Thursday, July 25th at 6 p.m. at the Embassy Suites DFW Airport North in Grapevine. And you can register to attend for free by calling 800-717-3320. This month's topic is how to make money learning with pre-foreclosure houses. Call 800-717-3320. Write it down. That's 800-717-3320 to attend any of our upcoming meetings and receive a valuable Texas real estate training program for free. Brought to you by the Dallas Real Estate Investment Association.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. In the last 2 months, we've saved our customers over $500,000. How'd we do it? With our exclusive partnership with your utility provider, we get to offer instant rebates of up to $1,500 when you replace that worn-out AC system. When you combine that with Carrier's Cool Cash savings of up to $3,500, we're talking saving over $5,000 on a brand-new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. Now that's how you save people money without gimmicks. But you'll have to hurry because the utility funds can run out at any time. So we're scheduling our free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. So call 2 other companies first, get their price,